And headlines. COMESA lauds Ethiopia's leadership in women's inclusion in aviation sector. And Ethiopia Telecom generates over 160 billion birr revenue over the concluded Ethiopian fiscal year. Hello, this is ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. I'm Sintayo Tamrat with the News Hour. Stay tuned. Ethiopia and Pakistan are strengthening their green cooperation with a major joint initiative on food security and environmental sustainability. The first ever Green Legacy Forum and a symbolic plantation ceremony were held in Islamabad, marking a new phase in their shared efforts. Organized by Ethiopian Embassy to Islamabad and Pakistan's Ministry of National Food Security, the forum brought together experts, officials, and students to share Ethiopia's green development success stories, especially its Green Legacy Program and Yelamat Trufat Bounty of the Basket initiative. The event featured a symbolic tree planting ceremony under this year's Green Legacy theme, Renewal Through Planting, launched by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Ethiopia's ambassador to Pakistan, Jamal Bakr, emphasized the commitment to collaboration in food systems and climate resilience. Pakistan praised Ethiopia's feat of planting over 40 billion seedlings in 6 years, boosting forest cover by nearly 24%. In a show of unity, both countries also inaugurated a new Green Legacy Park as a symbol of friendship and joint environmental stewardship. As climate challenges grow, Ethiopia and Pakistan's partnership highlights how green diplomacy can sow seeds of change regionally and globally. US-based economists urged Ethiopia to diversify its port access, warning that reliance on a single trade route could threaten the country's economic stability. They say regional collaboration is essential for long-term growth, trade efficiency, and poverty reduction. Economists from Southern Connecticut State University say Ethiopia must secure alternative port access to reduce trade vulnerability and support its development trajectory. Professor James Thoron warned that Ethiopia's heavy dependence on a single neighboring country for port access leaves its economy exposed to serious risks if the route is disrupted, according to FBC. He stressed that developing additional port corridor, whether in Djibouti, Somalia, Kenya, or Eritrea, requires strong political will and regional cooperation. Professor Samuel K. Ando echoed the concern, noting that maritime transport is the most cost-effective mode of moving goods. He added that access to multiple ports directly impacts Ethiopia's ability to reduce poverty and expand economic opportunity. The economists emphasized that regional integration, enabling the free movement of goods and services, is vital for East Africa's collective progress. With Ethiopia being one of Africa's fastest growing economies, they say enhancing port access isn't just a national issue, but a regional priority for inclusive development. As Ethiopia positions itself as a regional trade hub, experts say opening more doors to the sea could unlock stronger shared prosperity across the Horn of Africa.
We are very happy to see Ethiopia taking very important strides towards being fully responsible and accountable for ensuring food security in the country.
Many summits were conducted, many policies were endorsed. How do you see the upcoming summits?
I think when 4 years ago, UN held or organized and facilitated the member states' participation in the Food System Summit in Rome, it was one of the most important initiatives of the United Nations.
Empty stomach is susceptible to all forms of violence.
World Food Programme got a Nobel Peace Prize precisely for its roles in contributing to food through food security, food assistance, food systems support. And we will continue to do that because that is also a very important element to keep us all safe.
The most important thing is caring for our environment, including rehabilitating, afforestation, tree planting of extensive magnitude, is about reversing the course of destruction we have been on. The summer heat waves in Europe is creating huge problem, and it's becoming really heralding really big signal to world powers, including the European for that matter. And the best we can do locally is rehabilitating our environment, including the Green Legacy Initiative, which I already said need to grow further.
The Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, has commended Ethiopia's strides in promoting gender equality within the aviation sector, describing the country as a model for the continent. Speaking to EBC World, Patrice Simoapenga Hamusonde, COMESA's Director for Gender and Social Affairs, urged African leaders to adopt inclusive workplace policies that support the recruitment, retention, and advancement of women at all levels of the industry. Jerusalem has more.
In the African aviation sector, women's participation remains significantly lower than their representation in the general population. Globally, women make up just 4 to 6% of pilots, with regions like North America, Africa, and Europe recording the highest numbers, according to the International Civil Aviation Organization. In a move to address this gender gap, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa recently held a forum in Addis Ababa focused on promoting gender equality within the aviation industry. Talking to Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation, COMESA's Director for Gender and Social Affairs, Patrick Simoapenga Hamusonde, emphasized that the urgent need to transform the sector's corporate culture. She highlighted that while women are visible in roles such as flight attendants and other mid-level positions, they remain largely underrepresented in senior and leadership roles. Hamusonde called on African heads of state to prioritize the adoption of inclusive workplace policies that support the recruitment, retention, and advancement of women across all levels of the aviation industry.
The policies must be gender responsive. The policies, development policy, which encompasses all sectors, should be gender responsive. The education curriculum should be gender sensitive, should not be biased. When you are using examples, maybe teachers are using examples, they should use examples that are balanced so that people do not misunderstand that this career is only for men, this career is only for women. So the curriculum should be balanced, gender responsive, and also mindset change. People should have there should be efforts to change the mindset of people.
According to her, COMESA is committed to fostering a more inclusive aviation sector, one that ensures women have equal opportunities to take to the skies and lead from the cockpit and beyond.
We can also create space for these women that are variable to take up leadership space in the aviation sector. You know, when the leadership is balanced, even development efforts are balanced. Even the services that you provide to the clients would be balanced. And it would also encourage the girls that are coming behind to actually aspire to join the aviation sector in different fields, be it in leadership, be it in the technical fields, be it pilots, be it anything in the aviation sector. When they see their role models in there, they would be encouraged also to aspire to become officers in the aviation sector, in the different career opportunities that are available in the sector. So as we were discussing, member states were given an opportunity to share what is going on in their respective countries in terms of promoting gender equality and empowerment of women in the aviation sector.
Hello everyone, welcome on board to ET 362 flight from Addis Ababa to Doredwa via Djibouti.
She also praised Ethiopia as a model for the continent, noting that its national carrier, Ethiopian Airlines, has taken significant steps to empower women.
I'm happy, and I also recognize the efforts that Ethiopia aviation sector is doing to promote gender equality and empowerment of women. I'm aware that on every year on 8th March, International Women's Day, Ethiopia uses all women as crew and pilots to fly aeroplanes, which is good. It is a good step to show that women can do it. It is a very good step. It is good for the country, it is good for the continent, and it is also good for the girl child everywhere. So when we see what the advances Ethiopia is doing, actually, it is one of those best practices that other countries can learn from as a way of promoting the participation of women and also to demonstrate that there is nothing impossible for a girl child. A girl child can do what a boy child can do. So we are happy, and we congratulate the Ethiopian aviation sector for those efforts that they are making to demonstrate that women can do it as well.
You know what's so inspiring for me? Seeing Ethiopian female pilots dressed in their uniform and fly high in the sky.
Since 2015, the airline has operated all-women crew flights every year on March 8th, International Women's Day, a powerful symbol of progress and empowerment in the aviation world.
And Ethiopia Telecom announced that it earned over 162 billion birr in revenue during the recently ended Ethiopian fiscal year, attaining 99% of its target. Ethiopia Telecom CEO Freo Tamro attributed the success to strong digital innovation, expanded customer outreach, and efficient infrastructure development. The company recorded a 72.9% revenue growth compared to the previous year. Foreign services brought in over 193 million USD, while revenue from traffic, infrastructure sharing, and telebirr-based remittances hit 213.6 million USD. Ethiopia Telecom's customer base grew to 83.2 million, over 80 million mobile voice users, and more than 46 million mobile data users. Fixed broadband subscriptions increased by 67%, and mobile data traffic soared to 1.43 trillion megabyte, up 52.8%. Voice traffic also climbed by nearly 7%. As part of its digital transformation push, the company introduced 365 new and upgraded services spanning cloud platforms, telebirr products, and lifestyle solutions. Telebirr alone processed 1.6 trillion birr in transactions, marking a major milestone in Africa's mobile finance space. Additionally, Ethiopia Telecom saved 11.3 billion birr in operational costs through internal efficiencies and local partnerships. The company also expanded its service infrastructure, reaching remote and undeserved areas, and strengthening its position as a key player in Ethiopia's digital economy. Looking ahead, Ethiopia Telecom pledges to drive inclusive digital access, accelerate innovation, and support national efforts toward building a digital empowered society. The African Continental Free Trade Area Coordination and Program Secretariat Director, Toteti Makong, has commended Ethiopia's commitment to implementing the objective of the Free Trade Area. The director has emphasized the vital role of the Free Trade Area in enhancing intra-African trade and creating employment opportunities. Shagai Mata has more from Ethiopian News Agency.
The African Continental Free Trade Area Coordination and Program Secretariat Director Toteti Makong noted that integrating sectors such as transport, trade and services within the trade zone will generate substantial job opportunities for many people. Talking to the Ethiopian News Agency, the director commended Ethiopia's efforts and commitment towards achieving the goals and success of the African Continental Free Trade Area. According to him, the FCFTA will open up markets for trade and service sectors as well as employment employment opportunities.
Now, of course, that is the highest level of commitment any government can actually provide, in terms of the AFCFTA implementation. So again, we are here in Addis. We look at the transformations under the Honorable Prime Minister's leadership. It's amazing. And again, just imagine all of these things that we're seeing, the evolutions and the developments here. These are skills that can actually earn foreign currency for Ethiopia in other African countries. And again, the AFCFTA opens that market, and again, both in the goods market as well as the services market. So really, I look at it and I say the government means business, and again, the government has been a very strong supporter of the work that we are doing and what the AFCFTA stands for.
Makong urged businessmen to prepare themselves to fully benefit from the opportunities presented by the free trade area. The director also added that Ethiopian companies now have the opportunity to invest in other African countries within the AFCFTA's legal framework, which will create job opportunities not only domestically but across the continent.
Our business people, our farmers, will now have an opportunity to scale up their production. Those in investment will have now the opportunity to invest because the opportunities are vast and wide. And this is a very important moment. And of course, we are going to begin to see foreign companies beginning to trade across different countries. Of course, that means today Ethiopian companies under the AFCFTA legal framework will be in a position to invest in other countries, to establish presence in other countries. So it's a very important opportunity for creation of jobs, not only within countries, but in other countries as well.
Highlighting the urgency of job creation, Makong pointed out that by 2050, the largest share of Africa's population will be young people.
A third of youths will be in Africa. What that means is that we need to create jobs for these young people. Without the AFCFTA, the question is, how would we do it? Because for you to create jobs, it means there is production of goods and services. The production of goods and services cannot only be for a local or domestic consumption. In order to address these jobs, let's say, deficits we would have by 2050 if we don't make the AFCFTA work. And therefore, the AFCFTA comes in very timely to close that gap, to give countries an opportunity, businesses opportunity to invest, and therefore to create jobs.
The African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat continues to coordinate efforts among member countries to facilitate the effective implementation of the agreement.
That was the news for the hour from ABC World, and a quick reminder of top stories. COMESA allowed Ethiopia's leadership in women's inclusion in the aviation sector. And Ethiopia Telecom generates over 160 billion revenue over the concluded Ethiopian fiscal year. Thank you so much for the news, and see you another time.